Maybach Music Fantasy Football League Recap.
Welcome everyone to episode 3 of the Maybach Music Fantasy Football League Recap, where each week we go over last week's games, this week's matchups, and as always, we sit down with a league owner where we go over what's going on in the league, their lives, the world, and football in general. But before we get to that, let's start with Week 7's blowout of the week. Now, Week 7's blowout of the week was between first place team Golden Showers versus second place team Sauce-Gang. And between the two, it did not live up to what was supposed to be voted matchup of the week. Team Golden Showers beat Sauce-Gang 107-65, a 42-point defeat that sent Sauce-Gang from second place to third. Being voted matchup of the week last week, this game was a bit of a letdown, as anticipated to be a close game. Team Golden Showers are now 5-2 and on a 2-game winning streak as they sit at first place. They'll want to keep this momentum up when they play 9th place team Sioux Girls 1 Cup this week. As for Sauce-Gang, well, they'll have a chance to bounce back this week when they go on to play the 10th place team Beau the Show. Both Sauce-Gang and Golden Showers really shouldn't have very much to worry about this week as they're playing the two worst teams in the division, the league right now, the 9th and 10th place teams. Next, we have Team Redskin Gophers beating Sioux Girls 1 Cup 94-89. Sioux Girls had one last chance at winning the game with the Monday night football game between Chicago and the Rams. All they needed was for Jimmy Graham to win them the game, but their hopes fell short as he finished the night with only 3 points. The irony in this matchup is that Sioux Girls 1 Cup had originally drafted Rob Gronkowski as their tight end, and midway through the season decided to drop him. The irony in all of this is that Team Redskin Gophers picked them up last minute last week and ended up getting 12 points from Gronkowski, enough to win the game. Now, not only were they able to win the game, they were able to go from 3rd place to 2nd place. As this was a tough loss for Sioux Girls 1 Up, it took them from 7th place to now 9th place. It'll be especially tough for them to bounce back this week since they'll be taking on the 1st place team, Golden Showers. As for the Redskin Gophers, they'll have an interesting matchup when they take on To The House 40 squad this week as they come off a Week 7 win where they scored 126 points. We might as well actually get to that game. Now, as I said, To The House 40 squad won the game last week with 126 points when they defeated Trinidad James. This win came with the help of Justin Herbert's 38 points, Jaguars running back James Robinson's 28 points, and Kansas City's defense 24 points. This might have been a closer game if Josh Allen and Zeke could have showed up for Trinidad James, as they both had their second worst game of the season so far. To The House will look to keep their playoff hopes alive when they take on the Redskin Gophers. As for Trinidad James, they went from 5th to 6th place, but will have a chance to regain that spot when they take on Team Go-Go Ratchet this week, who now sit at 5th place. With that said, time for a commercial break brought to you by Team Go-Go Ratchet. Now, with that said, Week 7's win of the week goes to Team Chirac as they beat Team Go-Go Ratchet 119.3 to 118.78. This win almost didn't happen, but with 5 minutes left in the 4th quarter, a 7-yard run by Chicago's running back David Montgomery would help secure Chirac the win during the Monday Night Bears vs. Rams game. This is one of the closest wins of the week, and I think of the season so far. And for some reason or another, Team Go-Go Ratchet keeps finding themselves in these situations. Unfortunately, it did not work out for them this week, but they'll have a chance to bounce back this next week when they take on Trinidad James. As for Chirac, they are now on a 3-game winning streak and are sitting at 4th place thanks to this win. They'll be looking to keeping up this momentum when they go up against Team Rick is a bitch. and what's being voted right now as Week 8's matchup of the week, brother versus brother. Week 7's garbage match of the week lived up to its name as we saw 8th place team Rick is a Bitch beat 10th place team Bo the Show. There's really not much to expect in matchups like this when one of the teams doesn't even bother to set their lineup. Team Rick is a Bitch was able to take advantage and walk away with this easy win to move on to 7th place. While it's pretty clear at this point that Team Bo the Show won't be winning any championships this year, they can look forward to winning the most garbage match of the week trophies as they go on to face Team Sauce Gang in Week 8's garbage match of the week. For win or lose for Team Bo the Show this week, they'll still be in 10th place. And as for Sauce Gang, if they lose this game against Team Bo the Show, they could risk from falling from 3rd place to 5th, which pretty much means in the last 4 weeks they went from 1st place down to 5th place, which would make them garbage. All right, folks, that was this week's recap. And as you can see, as we're approaching the midseason mark, tensions are rising. Now, as for our special guest, I got to sit down this week with one of the league's worst general managers of all time. That's right, team owner and team general manager of Chirac, Montez Brown. And folks, let me just tell you, prepare to duck your taco.
Maybach Music Fantasy Football League Recap.
Okay. Team Tonka, how are you doing this week?
I'm doing good, coming off a major win, much needed win, and I can't express my gratitude to my players out there. They fought all 4 quarters, especially David Montgomery on a last catch, last second point. That's what football is about. I'm ready to coach my team up this week to play Yola. No, actually, wrong league. Sorry, to play my little brother. So I'm looking for getting another win, continue my winning streak.
That's how you got to look into it. As I'm looking down at your notes, you're on a 4-game winning streak that took you from 8th place to now 4th place. You're coming back from what was considered to be a done year. How's that got you feeling? That's a jump from 8th to now playoff contention in 3 games and 4 games. It's big.
I just think about it like this, it's any given Sunday. You take it 1 week at a time, 1 game at a time, and you just keep continuing to get better. You don't complain about injuries on my team. I have yet to have Mike Thomas. I mainly played him 2 games with me. Also, Devontae Adams been out for like 3 games. So we've just been struggling with injuries early on. Then, Deshaun Watson with the slow start, but maybe picking up Kyler Murray off the free agent was the best thing I could have done. And
I don't think anyone saw Kyler Murray really having the year that he's having right now. That's a good steal.
Yeah, because you know why they didn't see that? Because they're not a great GM. I'm a great GM. I have a great scouting team with me. And once that kid came available, we know to get him because he's a 3-way scorer. Okay, he's gonna put up the passing yards some games. When he don't pass the ball, he still run the ball. He's gonna walk into a touchdown every time. So that's just the reason why I picked him up off the free agents, and he's been starting since I picked him up.
He's been starting since then. Going more in depth into your team, I'm glad you have that positive outlook because looking back, you're one of the worst franchises in league history. In 8 years, including playoffs, you have a 46-52 record, and you've only placed top 3 once. How do you answer for those past years?
Man, it's just things happen sometimes. Like I said, it's any given Sunday. A lot of times beforehand, I wasn't a savvy GM like I am now. I took a lot of losses. I never even, if you go back and look at the transition history, I never really was into picking up the sleepers or, picking up guys and dropping guys who's a hot man this week. And I'm not into looking at Twitter and asking who's the steal for the week to pick up. I wasn't into those things at first, and it showed. My record showed. I just had nothing but raw talent, and that's why I'm a little bit 6 games under 500. But this year is the change because I've been paying attention to every little detail. I've been paying attention to the Travis Fulghams of the league.
You've been leveling up pretty much.
Yeah. And I always forget his name. He's on IR right now. He's a wide receiver from Packers. He came in, he'd be like 2 20-point games in the beginning of the season.
Devontae Adams? Not Adams.
Devontae Adams is Lizard. I can't say his last name. He had like 3 20-point games. Rick. That was like one of A-Rod's favorite targets this year before Devontae Adams actually started picking up.
I mean, and that's kind of hard to find wide receivers more than anything this year. Running backs, I mean, they're getting hurt left and right. Your brother Kai just had to drop Deshaun Jackson and Odell Beckham because they're both on IR. So it's hard to find receivers, and it looks like you know what you're doing right now.
Yes, I'm pretty much stacked up on our receivers. Actually, last night I was about to pick up a sleeper receiver, but I'm pretty much fine. I'm going to leave him out there.
All right.
I got some moves I need to make coming soon.
I got some news. You might want to. Oh no. I know last week we had a team Lou here, and he also has nothing but receivers. It's interesting. You guys might have been the ones that were looking at receivers while everyone was looking at running backs and tight ends. You guys might have taken advantage of a position that just hard to come about this year.
You gotta think about it, right? It's like when the NBA is like its evolution, right? It became a 3-point shooting game in the NBA. Football
4-point shooting now. Now it's really 4-point shooting. If you think about how far they're going.
Football became a passing league. So once you know it becomes a passing league, you look for wide receivers. You have quarterbacks throwing 40, 50 times a game. 40, 50 times a game versus they used to throw 30 times a game. It's 20 more passes a year. 20 more passes per game. So you got to think about that. So it's going to be a lot of slot wide receivers getting points that you never expected. It's going to be a lot of wide receivers getting on big plays downfield because they're throwing the ball so much this year. So that's just one of those things you got to look at.
You got to be prepped for it. That's right.
Yes.
I like the positivity we're going. Now, you've been carrying that positivity, and it showed you, especially last week when you beat Skip in one of the closest wins this year, and you stole a spot while doing so. And in fact, you got Week 7's win of the week. How good does that feel to get that close to a win thanks to Montgomery? Because that was literally the Monday night game. Literally, you had to just one run. You were 1 point away. You almost lost it because this is the fourth quarter. I think 3 minutes were left.
Yes.
Stole that W. How does that feel to steal a win like that? You get a close win like that.
First of all, before I answer that question, reporter Rick, let me start off by saying fuck Skip. Skip called everybody trash. I gotta just bring off some little facts just in case if people don't know anything about Skip. Let me give you a little, history. Skip has 2 rings in 8 years. The times he won his 2 rings was when it was only 8 teams in the league, and it was questionable about the add and drop players too as well. People used to have a lot of discrepancies about the add and drop and how Skip was capitalized off of that. So since then, since we added more people into the league, Skip been unheard of.
That's very true.
And he's been unheard of. He protested a year. I don't even think that even did anything for him. He took a year off just to be another loser. And then he had a nerve to get on, the first week's show and cut everybody trash, and he's the best GM, but
he was very vocal. He was very vocal in that interview.
Very vocal. I'm not trusting no GM who wore boat shoes on a football field for Osos.
For the viewers back home, he's referring to the touch football team we were a part of. And when Skip was the lead center rocking moccasins
to be exact.
Moccasins to be exact.
On the field. So anybody's like that is never going to beat me. So back to the question about how was I feeling, Monday Night Football. It was supposed to be a blowout. Tyler Lockett had a hell of a game. Didn't expect that to have that on the Bears. I think 33 points to be exact. 195 yards, 2 TDs in the first half, I believe. That was incredible. Tyler Lockett just kept him in the game. To speak, was I nervous or not? Are you nervous when Tom Brady has the ball in the fourth quarter down? No. Unless it's 2017 against the Eagles, I'm not worried.
That's in the past. Let's focus on right now.
Okay. Are you worried about Nick Foles in 2017 and the fourth quarter down by points? No, I'm not worried. So
that's how you won the Super Bowl.
Exactly. Skip just was lucky enough to make this week competitive. Because if you look at the beginning of it before Tyler Lockett played, it's supposed to be a clean 40-point blowout.
That's true.
Easily. So that's just one of those games where, any given Sunday, and this is what I've been talking about at the beginning of the interview, any given Sunday, somebody could come and put up big numbers. He just was so lucky with Tyler Lockett, but it still wasn't enough to get him a win. I'm all about winning. I came in as a clutch game for the 4th seed. I took it from him. He's licking my bottom of my feet right now, and that's just how it's going. And I'm going to keep stepping on him like dog shit, because that's what he is to me. He's dog shit in this league.
That's funny you say that. We actually have, I'm going to put this right now. We actually have a paid advertisement from Team Skipper. I want to put that in right now, actually,
Yes.
we're going to take a quick commercial break. Now, this week, you're playing someone that you know very well. You're
Mhm.
playing your own flesh and blood. You're playing your brother Kai. Now, in 8 years, you've beaten Kai 9 out of 12 times. I believe this game's actually been called the matchup of the week because how close the projections are. What makes this week different for you, though? Is there some kind of sibling rivalry that goes on at home when these kind of games come up? What? Tell us at home what goes on at House Tonka during these games.
This is going to happen during. This what goes on down in our house. He's about to wash the dishes. He's about to take the trash out. Okay, he's about to mop these floors
Sure.
because he's going to lose to me this week,
Mm.
and that's what's going to happen. 9-3. This is a much respect to him. He's definitely a champion. He won when there was 10 people in the league,
That's
so
true.
I got to give him the utmost respect because of that. But that just shows you the type of pedigree I have as a GM to be able to beat a defending champion who won with 10 teams.
That's
So
true.
now that I'm focusing and now that I had to get myself together. I think my team is ready for everything and anything. And
Very.
if you're looking at the points matchup this week, it's gonna be a low scoring game. I think 85 to 87. He's projected to win. It's a low scoring game, but I know for a fact Kyler Murray is gonna make it a high scoring game.
You're really banking everything on Kyler Murray this year. I hope he doesn't get hurt. I really,
If
for
he
your
get
sake.
hurt, do you know who my backup quarterback is? If Kyler Murray was to get hurt,
Who's your backup?
Deshaun Watson.
Gosh,
So I'm not worrying about Kyler Murray getting hurt. I'm not worried about Deshaun Watson getting hurt. This is why you build your team for these type of moments.
that's
And
true.
also, you got to think about it. If Kyler Murray just go, the second year slump where he just start tripping at the end, and Texans always come back from behind. I don't care how garbage they are. They can start out 1-7. The
It's
last
a competitive division for them. They could always win it.
yeah, the last 5 or 6 games, Deshaun Watson want to come up and put up 40 points anyway because he want to ball out and get his season stats up now.
Yeah.
And I can start him for the last half of the season. So, and he'll be playing with house money versus Kyler Murray, who's trying to play again in the playoffs.
He's trying to play for his spot. There's a lot of eyes on him this year, which I think is why we're seeing how he's playing. There's a lot of criticism the first 2 years, but I think he's really coming into his own. You might have picked him up though at the perfect time for that.
And
Now,
the scary thing about this, I've been doing my winning streak without Michael Thomas and Devontae Adams.
that's dangerous. That's
That's
dangerous when you have two of your best players on the bench and you're doing so well. That's going to prepare you for a playoff spot. I mean, playoff contention when you're in there. That's when you need them healthy for. But speaking of playoffs,
actually, I don't have Kyler Murray this week versus my brother. I actually had to pick up a quarterback, which was David Carr, but they play in Cleveland.
But Cleveland right now, I'm pretty sure the Browns do better under pressure and without Odell Beckham. I've been banking on the Browns for like 2 years. I'm always ahead, but I've been praying for them to be a good team. On paper, they should be a good team.
They just don't have it. 33-7 last week before last, a good team. They wound up playing. Who did they play last week? Bengals, and they still allowed Bengals to put up about 30-something points.
It's that defense.
It's that defense. So I'm thinking Derek Carr could put up 30 points.
Well, I mean, if Joe Burrow put up those kind of numbers, I'm going to assume also that Derek Carr.
So that's why I picked him up. Deshaun Watson also have a bye this week too, but Derek Carr will be dropped after this game.
Fair enough. So for people listening, if you've had your eyes on Derek Carr and you saw that he got picked up this week, do not worry. He will be available next week. Unless he's getting like 40 points, then maybe not. Even if he gets 40, he's going to be available next week. So
still going to be available next week. I'm a giver. I just drop him off for somebody can have. I don't care.
That's fair. That's really nice of you, actually. Yeah. I wish everyone in the league would have that kind of mentality. Maybe we've gone a lot farther. Friendships would still be stronger. We just have that kind of positivity. But I got to assume that when you see your brother with that ring walking around, that can't be a positive sight for you. I'd feel some type of way. At least that's me. If I was in the league. Reporter Rick, I see you guys being a part of this, and I get jealous. I want to be a part of this. It looks like you guys have fun. I would want to maybe one day join the league if possible. I got to talk to Commissioner Rick, but I think since I'm a reporter, there's like conflict of interest, so I can't. But
And
you
you got
guys
the
make it seem like a lot of
stimulating.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah. So
But
this
that
is how
has to
it's
be
gonna go.
bothersome, though. It has to bother you a little bit to see him walking around with that ring. Gold. That's 24 karat gold,
You
10
know,
diamonds. You know.
actually it doesn't because I get to wear it. I still like when he's at work, I'm wearing a ring. When he's out partying, I'm wearing a ring. So I'm letting you know now. I have a feeling this to have a ring, and I can't wait to
Got
get
your
my
own.
own ring so I
This
can
could be
rock
the
it
year.
with him.
This
This
could be
could
the
be the
year.
year. I feel like confident. I like how people laughed at my team in the beginning, and I like how things are rolling around. And that's what it's about in football, right?
That's
That's
just a
what it's
switch
about.
up.
It's
Now,
about who get on a run. Who's gonna get on that run? Giants won 2 Super Bowls with 9-7 records. So I really don't care what the record is, as long as I make the playoffs, and that's
I
my
don't
goal.
I don't have the stats, but I'm going to put this down so I have the stats for the next interview of how many people have won the league off of being in fifth or sixth place. I think a couple people have. It's very rare that you're in first and second place in this league and you win the championship. It's really rare, actually.
I think the
That's a
year I
little fun
actually
fact.
finished in top 3, I got put out in the second round. So
Yeah,
I think it was like
yeah.
a
Now, for the fans at home that don't know, we used to be together on the same touch football team league.
yes,
Your brother and I were coaches, and you were the team's number one tight end.
yes.
Now that you've gotten to play as a player and a coach in fantasy football, which is easier or harder in your opinion, to coach or to play?
Let me stop you right there. Speaking on that team, I had to ask why you and Kai allow Skip to get on the field with moccasins.
Listen, Skip
That's
was
I got to
very
ex
quick in those
Coach Rick that.
moccasins.
I got to ex Coach Rick that. How was he allowed to get on the field with moccasins? But that's a whole nother question. Anyway, back to the question at hand. I think everything I've been through with the football experience has prepared me for this moment right now. All right, you got to have tunnel vision. Things are not going to go your way. You can't leave it up to the referees. We learned that a lot. You
Yeah,
can never leave that up to the referees.
can't leave it to
And I'm not leaving anything up to nobody but my players. I hold my players accountable every time I put them in a lineup. I shoot them texts. I let them know what I need from them, what's the expectation, and how we're going to execute our plan. It's
yeah.
nothing else. We come through and we win. We come here and we fuck shit up. That's what we come to do.
Come
I
fuck shit
kind
up
of
and leave.
fuck shit up and leave. I have to give a shout out to Lou. He's damn sure been doing this thing this year. Much respect. He was one of the bottom of the barrel boys with me. So I'm happy to see somebody was once at the bottom and was on the top. So shout out to Lou. I can't wait till I play him. I think this would be a hell of a matchup.
Be a
It's
big matchup.
still one GM, and I'm not mistaken. I think he's doing horrible this year. I never expect to see him doing horrible. Is it Sioux Girls, right? What's their
Oh
record?
yes, Sioux Girls One
It's
Cup.
John.
John's team. Yeah, they're in ninth
Yes.
place.
I
Yeah.
never expected to see John at the bottom of the totem pole. That's one of the questions I got to ask. Maybe he's tanking for next year. Maybe he knows something that we don't know. So
I would hope not. I hope he's not following Skip's advice of tanking and preparing for the next year.
I just can't imagine John losing this bad. He's been good for so long in his
So
league.
long. I mean, he went to 4 finals. He only won one championship, but he's gone to 4 finals. And to see him, you're right at the bottom. This might be a rebuilding
It's a
year
shocker.
for them.
Yeah, it's a shocker for me. But I know how the game go. I was on a hot seat this year too, for my city of Chirac.
Got to put on.
So I understand how that things are going because if I don't make the playoffs this year, Chirac, we relocating. I had to change my name, change the name, and I'm about to start a new dynasty.
This would be the third time that you change your franchise because you started off for 2 years. You guys were called Montez Nifty Team. And then as you got better with fantasy football, you decided to change your title to Chirac 100. So it'll be interesting. I've seen a couple.
You know what's so
couple
funny?
teams.
I didn't even name myself that. That was the name given to me. And I signed the contract.
It was one of the general names. Like I said,
Yeah.
you progressed to fantasy football. You've dealt with like the corny cliche names, and then you got more into it. You're like, I need my team to have a name that reflects my mentality and what I'm putting forth. And now this year, I think you guys will place. It's still a little too early to say.
It's plenty of football left. But the thing about it being plenty of football left, there's more opportunities for me to win, and it's more opportunities for me to grow and get my team better.
That's very true. I think one of the great things about fantasy football, I always said, is that it forces you to have to learn about other teams. You're always stuck following your team. You watch your team's game on Sundays, so you only know about your team. But now fantasy football, now you're forced to have to learn about other players, and that makes you more knowledgeable, I think, overall as a football player,
Yes. Yes.
thanks to fantasy football. And clearly you're taking advantage of that. Going down to one of my last questions. For the fans that don't know this, you also became a father this year.
Yes.
And yet, with this new responsibility, you still find time to manage your team. What's it like being a father and a team owner at the same time, especially during the COVID times?
I just had to say, man, it's definitely a lot of hard work. It's not for the weak at all. I'm also a teacher too, so not only have my own kid, I have 75 kids that I'm also responsible for on a day-to-day basis. So this is definitely, a heavy workload on me, but I signed up for it. I got the city of Chirac on my back. I signed up for this. I want this win. I had too many media presses released already talking about what I'm going to do before the COVID. And since the COVID is here, this is how I hold my players accountable for not going out and partying and missing games to be on the COVID list. I did a great job of managing them for that too. None of my players ever been on the COVID list.
I haven't seen them. I've noticed that's hurt a lot of players having them on COVID list. You're right. None of your players.
It goes to the GM. It starts at the top. And if I'm carrying it that I'm not going out and partying and putting myself at risk, my teammates and my players cannot do the same thing. So
they're gonna follow by example.
Lead by example. And then this year is for my son, man. It's 2020. You never know what's gonna happen. We lost so many people in 2020. We already talked about that.
Yeah.
And it's just too many. So, but I also know that 2020 is the year of the unknown. And the unknown this year is me. I'm coming to take that ring. That's
anything can happen this year. Why not? Anything can happen this year. Why not Team Chirac 100 winning it this year?
Yeah, why not Chirac get the interview owner Rick or Commissioner Rick?
Okay, so you're not the first person to bring that up, that they want to interview Commissioner Rick and team owner Rick. Like I mentioned in the past couple weeks, these two individuals are the hardest people to find on the planet. They don't have a Facebook. They don't have an Instagram. I don't even have their telephone number. It's hard. It's hard to find. They reach out to me. They like the videos. Commissioner Rick sometimes writes to me and says he likes what we're doing here. He pays the bills. He's my boss. But he's happy. But I'm hoping maybe for the end of the season, at least one of the two, we can meet with team owner Rick or Commissioner. There's a lot of questions.
I guarantee if team owner Rick is on the field across from me in that championship, I'm going to walk across at the end and ask him these questions. It has to be done.
Now, as you remember, whenever Coach Rick is on the field, there's a lot of times he might be intoxicated. So tread light when you come up and approach, because if he loses, you might be upset. You might not want to. You might not get the answers you want to hear. Just gonna let you know that ahead of time.
Coach Rick knows me personally, right? Coach Rick actually coached me.
That's true.
Okay, Coach Rick actually got thrown out the game. Actually, I threw up the game for me catching an interception. They robbed us. Okay.
For the fans at home that know this story, he's talking about the third game of the OSO season. Tonka caught a pass that was right in bounds and changed the whole landscape of the game. That the referee said he was out. Coach Rick, there's videos that went viral of him losing his shit on the referee to the point that the referee told him to leave the game.
Yeah.
So because Coach Rick goes for his players. He backs them up.
Yeah, to me, Coach Rick got history. I think got enough respect for me to shake my hand and not walk off the field like Tom Brady every time he loses Nick Foles.
You know what? I heard about that. I think Tom Brady just had to go use the bathroom. I don't think there was any. I think he just really had to use the bathroom. And
I think LeBron had to use the bathroom too, but nobody cared about that. So let me go.
Whatever brings that up.
Yes.
Going on to one of the questions I got to ask Lou last week. I got to ask him if his Maybach Music fantasy football career was a Disney movie, what movie would it be? I want to ask you the same question. If your Maybach Music Fantasy Football League career could be a movie, what movie would it be?
First of all, we're not going to do that.
We're not doing that.
Say Disney movie. We're going to do BET movie, okay?
BET movies. All right.
I would have to say Boys in the Hood. And this is why I say that. We started off with nothing. Everything happened to us. What's my record? 47 and 55. We've been
46 and 52, but
46 and 52. We've been losing a lot, right? And then something happened where that 1 year we was third place, that was equivalent moment to Ricky getting that college letter. The college scout coming to talk to him.
That's true.
And then after that, we had like 3 losing season after that. That was Ricky getting shot. in the back and his knee.
And that lasted 3 seasons.
Yes. Now, this year, we doughboy, okay? We're going to get the killers that killed Ricky. So this is how my season is going. For everybody who was shooting at me and it was cooking me all 8 years in this league, who was treating me like Ricky, I'm back.
You're back.
Now.
Well, I honestly hope that
you're gonna have to turn around and look your killer in the eye. I mean that.
Well, I hope that your season ends positively and not as the dead body that got found in the beginning of the movie when they're like, "You want to see a dead body?" I hope that's not you. I hope that's not you. I hope that not ends like that for you.
My roster is too deep for me to even go that route. I told you this already before, Reporter Rick. If I'm anything less than a finals appearance to me, I'm out of there. It's no longer shot right.
That's fair. I mean, so you've been talking a lot about winning. So pretty much, if let's say you do win and you come in first place this season, 2 questions. What's the first thing you're going to do? And where are we celebrating?
The first thing I'm going to do is write a long fucking message in that Yahoo chat for everybody that laughed at my team. I'm telling them suck a dick. That's number 1.
That's fair. That's fair.
Where I'm going to Disney World. We're going to the fucking bubble, Rick. We're going to the home of the bubble. Rick. We're going to interview from the bubble, Rick. It's going to be nobody have an interview from the bubble yet. We're going to be in the bubble literally. Okay.
That's true.
Interview.
That's perfect.
When I get my ring, I can't wait till I put that around my finger. I really can't. Look at this. I got no rings on my hand yet.
Man, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. The more you speak it, the more it will come into existence, man. I'm a firm believer of that.
Everybody has their chance. And then I'm looking at the league and where it's going.
Except for John and Brian. I don't think John or Brian have a chance. But everyone else.
I'm looking at Rick owner team with Lamar Jackson. And I love Lamar to death. But he had too many games when he only had like 20 points, 18 points. He had too many games this year when he only had like 18 points. I mean, that's good, but that's not Lamar Jackson.
But it's basic. It's not. I don't think that's what team owner Rick picked the first round for. I don't think.
Yeah, it's not 30. It's not 32-point Lamar, 42-point Lamar. But guess who having a type of somewhat a Lamar season this year? Kyler Murray. So that's why I think that this is my edge this year. This is my push, and I still got 2 big name wide receivers, Michael Thomas,
that are just sitting like they're just waiting for the playoffs. They're waiting for that position to say.
They're just waiting, and like I could go down the list on my roster. Travis Kelce, still got him. We didn't even talk about my tight end.
No, tight ends are very interesting in this league because it's a hit or miss. I think it could be they can have 3 hot games and then they're out. They get injured.
We playing against the Jets this week. I don't think he's gonna have a hit and miss game. It's gonna be for sure. No. I still got Travis Fogel. We already know he's gonna ball on Dallas. Dallas had the shittiest defense ever.
Who's Dallas's quarterback now that Andy Dalton's hurt for?
Geechee. Geechee. Say it again. Who? Geechee.
What? Gazoon tight.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm happy about that. So that should be a win. Travis Fogel should at least put up. I'm gonna go out the limit, guess, for 20 points.
I think you're gonna meet that because they're just Eagles wide receivers and then Dallas's defense. It's a match made in heaven. It's a match for you to get points up for that. It definitely is. So now that we know what you're doing and where you're gonna be celebrating, I'm going to end this with some more positivity. You're in a 3-way tie right now for 3rd place, pretty much, between Reese and Skip. Between those 2, whose dreams would you want to crush more?
Well, it has to be that guy, Reese.
Reese.
Yeah, I had to crush his dreams. I already cooked fat ass Skip. I'm not.
You got to take care of the other one.
I think I see Reese in our other league. Yeah, that's who I want to crush his dreams. It's definitely Reese.
He's got 2 rings. Well, he doesn't need a 3rd one. He's only been in the league, I think, for about 4 years and has 2. Like, what is that?
No, it's because that we allow him to do that, because he's a sore loser. If he loses too much, he quit and cry. So
those were gimmies. Those were gimmies to keep him in the league for years.
Yeah, he won't win again.
No, he's not getting it. Just like Team Skip, they got their 2s. I think that's as far as they're going. Now, with that being said, you want to send one last message to the rest of the team owners that are watching this? A special message.
I got one thing to say. I gotta say one thing to say to him, and this is Chirac terminology.
All right.
Duck your fucking taco. Duck your taco. If niggas don't know what that means, they're gonna find out. Duck your fucking taco on 4 of them grade, cuz.
Is that going to be, is that the team slogan right now? When we
Duck
get the
your
jerseys
taco.
made and everything, that's going to be right there?
Then duck your taco. I'm head hunting. So duck your taco. You want to protect that
Duck
taco meat? You want to protect that brain? That taco meat in your head? Duck. Because we coming to win.
Duck. Tonka, I just want to thank you for people not knowing, this is actually the second time we are doing this week. We had technical difficulties. So I really appreciate you doing this again with us this week. I'm wishing you the best, and I'm hoping that you win because I've never gone to Disney World. Fun fact, I've never gone to Disney World. So I would love to do this interview in the fucking bubble. So you win, I'm there with you.
I'm taking all my brothers with me to the bubble too, so.
Even Kai? Even Kai?
He can come, he got a ring. I'm taking Big Soapster too. The whole family coming to the bubble.
Count me in. Tonka, I wish you the best for the rest of the season. Thanks again for being on this week's edition of Made Back Music Fantasy Football League Recap.